I finally finished cleaning out the last room of my house. Hey, this is Tracy with Tracy Talks. Welcome. About a month ago, a couple of my kids came out and I had a talk. I said, this needs to be gone through, and either you take it or you designate that you want to keep it, but don't have a place for it, or we're going to donate and get rid of it. And there were several tubs. There was one tub of electronics and just stuff. Like, why do we save all of this stuff? I don't know. Maybe you don't. I do. I've had pictures and things from decades. Well, a couple of weeks ago, I had a stack of things that I've saved from middle school and pictures. I went through all of my pictures. Like, when it's interesting because when you merge a family and a house with somebody, you have lots of pictures of people that are no longer in your life. And I decided that, you know what, I'm going to go through these. These people aren't in my life. They were his family. I don't know why I have the pictures. And I just started going through everything and having these real conversations like, I don't want this, and I'm not going to keep it. And during this, I found a letter that I had wrote to myself at the end of 8th grade. And I started to read the letter. And there was this one boy in our grade who I kind of see him as the archetype of Danny Zuko in Greece, the one that had a reputation, the one that was known for flirting with all of the girls. Even if supposedly he was dating somebody, he was always flirting with somebody else. And as I'm reading this letter, I'm just amazed that I spent so much time and energy focusing on him and what was happening during the year and who was he talking to. And he was talking to Jennifer and he was talking to Lisa, and I was mad, and Jennifer and I weren't friends anymore, and Lisa was actually dating his brother, but still she would flirt with Charlie, and all of these things. And this was my whole letter about all of these shenanigans that seemed so earth shattering and life changing. Like, the drama that's coming out of here is just ridiculous. And of course, there were people that I mentioned in here that I'd forgotten about, and things that had happened that I didn't make it in my stored memory, that were completely just forgotten about. And when I finished reading it, I mean, it was just like a groan, like, oh my God, I was so young, and the things, it's just, it's just ridiculous. Fast forward a couple of weeks, I decide to stop and have lunch in my hometown. And when you go to lunch in a small town, most of the time you just see older people, that aren't working, that are retired, and you just don't ever expect to see anybody that or I don't. And I went and ordered my sandwich, and I got my drink. And when I drove up, there was a truck parked outside, and I just took notice of it because it looks like a truck that my friend drives. And so I was like, that's interesting. I wonder if they're here. And so I was just kind of like looking around. This restaurant has really tall kind of booths. And so, not everybody's completely visible. And I fixed my drink. And as I sit down, I realized that the Danny Zuko that I had talked about in my letter was sitting in one of the booths. And I just sat there thinking, oh God, maybe he didn't recognize me. Because I've changed my hair and I haven't talked about that much and I haven't done an unveiling because I'm still not happy with it, but I'm in the process of changing my hair. So maybe he didn't recognize me. So I I get my phone out, of course. What do we do nowadays when we want to pretend like we're busy and, distract ourselves? So I'm waiting for my food. I get my phone out and my food comes. And then I notice this person, Danny, we're going to call him Danny now, gets up from the booth. And again, I'm looking down, but I can see him in my peripheral. I'm thinking, just just walk on by because I have not emotionally prepared to have a conversation with this person. Like I am at this stage in life where I need to emotionally prepare when I am meeting people like this that I wouldn't say we had a lot of history, but obviously with the letter and other things that yeah, there's history there and you just don't want to meet these people without being prepared. And so he's starting to walk by the booth and he's like, "Hey, I wasn't expecting to see you here." And I was like, I should have said I wasn't expecting to see you here either. And so we spent a few minutes, doing small talk, like, "What are you doing? Where, what's going on?" And he said something about, you know, "Well, you behave," and he starts to walk away and I'm like, "Me behave? Like you're the one." And he was like, "No, no, no. I wasn't doing anything different than anybody else was." And it's always funny when I seem to reconnect with people who were at a different level, whatever it was. Like, he was known for being a flirt. He was known for being a troublemaker. Now, he wasn't doing horrible things. And I don't even know that I don't even think he drinks. I don't think he's really been a drinker. He's not one of those type of partying people, but certainly he was known for being a flirt and he would flirt with everyone. And, it was just interesting how he was in this full state of denial that he was like all of the rest of us. And I'm sure that I could take a poll from so many people in my grade that no, he was not just like the rest of us. We didn't see him just like the rest of us because he was doing other things that the rest of us were not doing, as my letter has documented. We continued to talk for a little bit and just try to catch up because, again, I was just amazed how he was still just trying to downplay his behavior. And I don't know why I'm surprised by that because there are other now men that were in my grade that have done the same thing but for different reasons and how they impacted and how they treated other people that they completely downplay the impact that their behaviors had on the rest of us. And then as he was getting ready to go, he came down and gave me a hug. And I'm thinking, are we at the hugging level of our friendship? Like, you know, I don't know. I've noticed too a lot more people as we age want more hugs, which is fine. Like, I wasn't offended. I didn't feel like, anything was violated because, like, this is somebody who's I've known for what, 40 years. It was like a full circle moment of, you know, me just opening this letter up 2 weeks ago and having these memories flood back into me, and things and situations, and this letter was talking about parties and who was doing what at parties and who had the parties and where were they at, and to then see his name typed all over this letter to myself, and then to have him actually appear in my life like 10 days later was just crazy. When I think about this, and especially because I did watch Grease recently, and the dynamics there, and everybody's got a Danny Zuko, and everybody's got a Rizzo, and we these are typical archetype characters. And flash forward 40 years, and I don't know, there's a balancing out of people that, there are people that had some type of status that was either given to them at an early age, or I wouldn't say that he earned it, but certainly there was something that was given to him for whatever reason. And, and you see these people now, and it's like, okay, we're all a little more on the same even play field. It was one of those surreal moments for me because, like I said, I was going through all of these things. I had all of these memories come up, and who should appear but the Danny Zuko? And I kind of was hoping that he wouldn't recognize me, but apparently I do look enough the same. Oh my. Life imitating art. Thank you for listening to this episode of Tracy Talks. Remember to rate, review, and subscribe, and share with others who would enjoy listening to this podcast. Friends can find Tracy Talks available on iTunes, Spotify, Substack, and YouTube. Hit me up on Instagram and Facebook at More Tracy Talks. And until next time, we meet again.